Hey traders, welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth for another daily market recap. Today is Friday, December 11th, and happy Friday. I'm excited for the weekend. It's been a long week, and in today's video, we're going to discuss a few market moving headlines and news and events, and we'll also discuss SPY not changing the hourly trend yet. We're still in an hourly downtrend, but bulls into the end of the day got a big of enough bounce that we can anticipate an hourly higher low and the possibility of an hourly trend change. If that does occur, then our daily higher lows will be set and we'll look up to potential new highs. So with that, we could see a Santa Claus rally into the end of the year. Personally, I'm thinking that we will, especially if stimulus gets passed or we start to see more rhetoric about more, potential deal, getting closer to a deal going into next week. So we'll continue to monitor that. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So we'll take a look at some news and alerts that came through here just in the last little while here. We have an alert as well as that S&P 500 falls for third straight day as stimulus uncertainty remains. So as we know, they've been postponed until next week. So talks should resume next week at some point. Congress risks government shutdown as senators threaten to hold up a funding bill. A lot of people are blaming Mitch McConnell for the reason why the bill didn't get passed. The Senate needs to pass a funding bill and President Donald Trump has to sign it before midnight to avoid a government shutdown. The House already approved the one-week funding measure as Congress tries to reach agreement on a full year package, and the situation that we have at hand, relief. Bernie Sanders and Josh Hawley want to attach legislation to send another round of direct payments. So we'll continue to check back in on that. We saw that New York City will shut down indoor dining starting on Monday, Government Cuomo says. So that's going to be a big blow to the restaurant industry. Apple starts work on its own cellular modem, top chip exec says. So reports on Apple branching off into its own modem as well, which is pretty cool, and continues to dominate the space. Disney unloads a slew of impressive Disney Plus announcements and announces price hike. And they've also seen a huge increase. They now have 86.8 million subscribers, and they're expecting about 230 million to 260 million subscribers by 2024. So lots of growth potential there. We saw Mexico hit snooze on the cannabis legalization until next spring. So PCLO ironically was up quite a bit today. We also saw that Sundial receives approval from NASDAQ listed transfer to allow for additional 180-day compliance period. So I did a video on this earlier today. Also went into some in-depth analysis on Sundial, so you can check out that SNDL video. Just go to my YouTube page and search it up, and it should pop up as the first video. So we also had the HEXO annual general meeting today. It was confirmed that they are going to move ahead with the 4-to-1 stock split. So if you have shares of HEXO, essentially you'll have to divide that by 4. So you'll have 4 times less shares on Monday, and the share price will be multiplied by 4. Well, not on Monday. We're not exactly sure when it's going to, we haven't received official word yet when the split is going to take effect. So Monday we have earnings as well. So we'll take a look at some of the charts as well here in just a second, but we'll look at the crypto space here first on the list. So Bitcoin trying to reclaim 18,000. Daily consolidation still underway. Need to change that 4-hour trend. So we haven't done so yet, but we do have an inside bar here to be watching and a potential for a 4-hour higher low. And then we'll look to change that 4-hour trend. Once we do that, then we can be confident that the daily higher low is set. And pretty much the same for most names. XRP did see a fairly decent spike today, but basically flat now. I still have an XRP position that I'm riding. And we had the weekly close. So it's the weekly close today. On SPY, we had a bull break here from last week of the high of 369.85 and the new all-time high at 371.05. And looks like we're trying to bounce off of this megaphone pattern resistance line. So if I zoom out here to the monthly, you can see we have this megaphone. So we have that reclose above on the weekly, above that resistance line. And like I said, we touched down right on it and then we bounce. So not a coincidence. I think it's a back test in my opinion. And like I said, we haven't changed the hourly trend. So if we zoom in here to the hourly, we haven't changed the hourly trend yet, but bull's got quite a bit of room here with some decent volume there into the end of the day. Got over EMA 12, still has to deal with EMA 26 on Monday, but we'll see if we potentially gap up over that. And bull's hoping for as much of a bounce as possible. So still haven't started hourly consolidation, this move coming right from the low. So we need to get as much of a bounce as possible to be confident that we can allow enough room for a higher low and a higher high. And then we can be confident that the daily higher low is set, and we'll look to some more positive and more gains to be had as a bull if that does occur. So pretty much the same for all names. We're just looking for hourly trend changes. The dollar still essentially range bound. And did it change its 4-hour trend? We got some inside bars on watch here as well. So we also have EMA 12 and 26 right there. So lots of room to form a 4-hour higher low. So again, most important on the dollar and crypto is going to be the 4-hour, and most important on stocks is going to be the hourly. Just take a quick check in here. VIX is up again today, about 4%. So taking a look at silver on the weekly, again, we closed down below that weekly resistance line. So I wouldn't be surprised if we went sideways between the $25 and $22 range for the next week or few weeks into the end of the year. But generally that's a bearish pattern, but we did hold weekly support, unlike gold, which lost weekly support and confirmed the descending triangle bear break, but bounced off this monthly yellow uptrend line. And got to keep an eye out here for potential weekly lower highs. We got 49 minutes left in the week, and we do have an upper wick, and it looks like we're topping out at EMA 12. So rejecting at EMA 12, currently below EMA 26 as well on the week. So looking very, very toppy at this point, and could very well be a weekly bear flag and a weekly lower high. But we did hold daily support. So most important support on the daily is going to be 1822. If we lose 1822, we got as low as 1824.18. If we lose 1822, then we'll lose the daily uptrend, and weekly lower high is likely set at that point. So again, on most names, looking for those hourly trends and taking a look at some individual tickers. So Apple was down today a little over 0.5%. AirBNB was down almost 4% on the day. Taking a look at some notable losers. Riot was down over 7%, Neo over 7%, Dash almost 6% down on the day. Disney was up huge, obviously. INSG catching a nice bid as well, up almost to $14. So huge, congrats to the bulls on that one as well. Roku seeing over 2% gain on the day. It's curious how Tesla ended, down a little over 2.5%, closed at 609. So that's pretty much where we stand. Just checking in to see if there's anything else I wanted to mention. So we'll take a look at the Airbnb and Dash charts real quick. I know a lot of people are interested in these names. Personally, I'm still sitting on the sidelines, not a little too hot for me, but daily consolidation underway. We did break the low of yesterday. So taking a look at the hourly downtrend. So going to need to first change the hourly trend. Are we in a 15-minute uptrend? Nope, 15-minute downtrend as well. Could be a 15-minute bear flag. 5-minute, looking to change the 5-minute trend here with a low, high, looking to establish a higher low compared to 135.27. And most important resistance, we had that bull break, but we had a high here of 141.48. We get as high as 141.35. So essentially, we didn't break above it. It was a double top. And now we're pulling back, scouting a 5-minute higher low compared to that 135.27. Zoom out to the 15-minute afterwards, change that trend. Then we zoom out to the hourly, and then we zoom out. We just look for daily lower highs, and then we zoom out, look for daily trend changes. But again, because there's no real history on this ticker, it's very difficult to really find support and resistance, right? So just have to rely on these shorter term time frames. And personally, I wouldn't be holding this over the weekend if it were me. A lot of room to the downside. We were basically 100% double the IPO price. So taking a look at Dash, Dash was down almost 6% today. Had a low, high, higher low into a trend change, but essentially faked out and huge upper wick. So we zoom out and look for a possibility of a bear flag. So we'll look at the hourly here. Could potentially be an hourly bear flag. Topped out at EMA 12 resistance as well on the hourly. So we don't have a EMA 26 established yet based on the trading history. But that's where we stand on Dash. Just taking a look here. So we'll take a quick check into the MJ sector and LOBE. I did a video on LOBE yesterday, but essentially started consolidation today and wasn't surprising after a huge bull move and daily inside bar on watch going into Monday. But just looking for an hourly high or low here compared to 9.5 cents and holding EMA 12, looking to form a base of support there on the hourly. So going to be most important going into Monday, the inside bar, and EMA 12, nice visual guide there on the hourly as well. Taking a look at the 5-minute, not really much there in terms of volume, and it could be a potential 15-minute head and shoulders. So I'd be out if we lost 15 cents personally. So that's where we stand. Taking a look at some MJ. So some notable losers. We had VLNS, NSP, VLNS, TGOD down the most. On the bull list, we had PWR, Labs, Fire, PCLO, SNDL, Sundial, and HEXO closed flat. So CGC daily consolidation still underway. Looks like we did break the low of the previous week. So weekly consolidation could be underway. If this is all we see though, then we'll expect a potential weekly bull flag. So on the daily time frame, again, we did break to a new lower low. So need to change those hourly trends to be confident that the daily higher low is set. We have yet to do that. So personally, I think daily consolidation is still underway and can likely expect that into next week. So that's pretty much where we stand. APHA down almost 3%. HEXO is closing flat, rate at $1, and it's up to 101 here after hours. So keep in mind that on Monday, pre-market, we have earnings coming out, and then just before market open as well, they have their conference call and investor webcast. So I'll be joining into that. I'll give you guys an update on Monday as well. So best of luck into the weekend, and make sure you have a plan. If you haven't got in on HEXO, obviously the market is now closed unless you play after hours. But if you don't purchase after hours, you'll have to, or pre-market on Monday, you'll have to wait. But the news should be out around 7, 8 a.m. I would think, maybe even 6 a.m. Eastern time on Monday. I'm probably expecting 7 a.m. Eastern time on Monday to see those financials report come out. So personally, I'm holding quite a bit over the weekend, and we still didn't break the high of the previous day. So we clearly still haven't started the daily bounce, and we didn't change the hourly trend yet as well, just like most names without extended hours on here. See, we had a double bottom there, not really enough of a clear pivot. So we need, in my opinion, we need to form an hourly higher low now compared to 94.5 cents and then break 102. If we break 102, then we're in an hourly uptrend. But likely not going to matter because we're likely going to see a huge gap up or a huge gap down. I highly doubt we'll remain flat at $1 with the volatility that we've seen. But money managers and bears did a good job knocking it down here from that huge short squeeze and ramp up from the legalization news. After the poor earnings reaction, we had the legalization news and just a huge recovery, still up over 60% on the month. So that's pretty much where we stand. Personally, I'm expecting a revenue beat, a huge revenue beat. I'm not expecting a beat on the EPS, but I would expect it to come in at a slight miss if I was going to have to predict anything, but I would expect a slight miss on the EPS or roughly in line with their estimates. And I would expect a huge beat on the revenue. And I do want to just take a look at investing.com here real quickly, see what the estimates are and share that with you guys. I think it was 21 million on the financials, or on the revenue, and -2, I think. It's got 21.57 million and -0.0157. So pretty much what I expected. So we'll continue. I'm expecting revenue upwards of between 30 and 40 million. So if we were to hit 40 million, even with an EPS, say we came in at -0.02 or -0.03, even with a slight miss, if we come in with 40 million, say, in revenue, I think the stock's going to explode. And it'll all depend on the investor webcast as well, if they offer any guidance. Usually they don't, but we'll see if they offer any guidance, and just, you know, overall news. They may come out with some news on Monday. We'll see. Not expecting any news, but being prepared for it as well. And on the weekly inside bar here, so not really giving many bulls an opportunity to enter. So they've done a good job doing that. We didn't hit hourly oversold either, and it held $1, which is extremely bullish going in, especially with earnings on Monday. After such a bad reaction on the last earnings, there seems to be a lot of people betting that there's going to be a lot of good earnings, and there wasn't even any selling when SPY was consolidating the last couple of days. Really, we lost like 5 pennies or 10 cents after jumping almost 100% in a little over a month. So we have weekly EMA potentially bull crossing as well. So you can see EMA 12 looking to cross through EMA 26. What happened when that happened on CGC back here? Oh, just a cool 65% to the upside. So we'll continue to check back in on that. And we'll look at, just want to bring it up while I think of it. We had the golden cross here as well, and the 50 through the 100. So we did see that huge move, but that huge move was a little premature. It was before the golden cross. So still expecting a lot of momentum and upside and some volatility, some huge volatility. Not sure which way we're going to open. I think we're going to open higher and we're going to have a beat. But like I said, probably a slight miss on the EPS. And just want to bring up HEXO here on the weekly. So again, we are above that 85 weekly, 50 weekly moving average. So we closed at $1. That's extremely bullish. And HEXO over here closed above the 10-week moving average, and the MACD and the stochastic is cross bullish as well. So very, very strong chart. It's in a monthly uptrend, weekly uptrend, daily uptrend, scouting for a daily higher low, and weekly EMA bull cross. We had the golden cross. We had the 50 crossing through the 100, and just a very, very bullish chart in my opinion. So taking a look at SPY on the weekly, it's really going to depend what SPY does again as well on Monday. So if SPY continues consolidating, that may provide some headwinds. But if SPY finishes its consolidation and we change those hourly trends and we confirm daily higher lows and we see the daily bounce underway, that could bode well for the HEXO bulls. As we know, the last time they reported stellar earnings and it ran up hundreds of percent, SPY started to consolidate in a meaningful way, and then we got knocked down. So again, really going to depend on SPY. I think that we could potentially see a stop to the bleeding on SPY going into Monday. It's really going to depend on stimulus. So I think if we see more narrative around, you know, stimulus talks improving or reaching closer to a deal, then I think we'll just slow melt up. And either if we open flat, as long as we don't fall off a cliff on SPY, HEXO should be fine. So again, just taking a look at some clues here on the weekly, MACD, stochastic, very bullish on SPY, closed above the 10-week moving average. Taking a look at the moving averages on the weekly, we are well above all 3 of those. And on the daily, we are well above all 3 of those. So again, finished with a little bit of a lower wick there on SPY. And all about those hourly trend changes into Monday. So that's pretty much where we stand. Taking a look at the US side, so Vireo, NBEV, CWEB down the most today, followed by MedMen. Then we had TAT, CNVCI, which is BioHarvest Sciences. I had to think about that one for a second, up over 4%, TrueLeave up over 2%, GTII, Cura. So the main MSOs were getting a lot of attention today. Not a huge green day by any stretch of the imagination, but definitely targeting the tier 1 names and truly very, very strong as well. Personally, again, I'm focusing more on Canadian LPs and the 13F filings that came out, which are asset managers that have over 100 million in assets, are ramping up on Canadian cannabis stocks. So again, this is why I've been bullish for a long time. I think there's a lot more rooms and upside to be had in the Canadian LPs right now, maybe in the long term with the US MSOs, but right now, given the fact of the fundamentals improving and the technicals improving and laws potentially being changed in Canada, Ontario potentially looking to have cannabis infused beverages at bars and venues and events, that type of thing. It's just starting to look more and more like we're hitting a bottom in the Canadian market. So that's my game plan going into the end of the week here and into next week. That's pretty much all I have for you guys. So just taking a look here as we wrap up. So stimulus, again, delayed until next week. And I said SPY would likely go sideways or slow grind down consolidation. Today, we continued that slow grind down consolidation. So far, pretty much bang on with what I'm expecting. And like I said, not really sure what to expect on SPY going into the week, into the weekend, into next week. It's really going to depend if there's any more news or any cure updates, that type of thing. And again, HEXO earnings pre-market on Monday, and the investor webcast will be held shortly before market open as well. So I'll be tuning into that, and I'll make sure to provide you guys with an update first thing on Monday. Hope you have a fantastic weekend. Thanks again for joining us on The Pursuit of Wealth for another daily market recap, and we'll see you next week.